Okay, hopefully this should be recording. We're going to be in 6-4, standard form day 2. So our objectives are to change equations written in standard form to slope-intercept form, which we have done already, and then to write equations in standard form for application problems. Why do we change equations from standard form to slope-intercept form? It allows us to use technology or our calculator, and it only takes the equations in the form y equals. So if I have something that's in standard form of the form ax plus by equals c, I would not be able to plug it into my calculator unless y was alone. How do we do this? We are simply going to solve for y, which means get y alone, and this is something we have done before. First, we're going to move the x term to the other side by adding or subtracting, depending on the size of the x term. Then, we are going to divide every term by the coefficient of the y term. We're going to simplify any resulting fraction. For our first example, we're going to change 2x plus 5y equal to 12 to slope-intercept form. First, we're going to move the x term. The result, when we subtract 2x from both sides, is the equation 5y equals negative 2x plus 12. Notice I wrote the x term first. I do this because the equation in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And if I want to get to the form y equals mx plus b, I would like to write the x term first. Step 2, now we're going to get rid of the coefficient. So recall from the last slide, we had 5y equals negative 2x plus 12. Now we are going to divide by 5. When we do that, we get y equals negative 2x, 2/5 x plus 12/5. You may also write this in decimal form as y equals, should be an equal sign, 0.4x plus 2.4. Notice I divided every term by 5. Don't just divide one of the terms or two of the terms. You have to divide everything in the whole expression by the coefficient of y. Graphing 2x plus 5y equals 12 is the same as graphing y equals negative 2/5 x plus 12/5. So we use two different methods to graph this, but our results would be the same graph. They are just different forms. This is what we call standard form. And this is what we would call slope-intercept form. But the results of the graphs, even though the methods are different, would be the same. Okay, for example, we're going to change 4x minus 2y equals 10 to slope-intercept form. Step 1, we're going to move the x term so that we get negative 4x, or subtract 4x from both sides. Negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 10. Notice I wrote the x term first again. to have it in the form y equals mx plus b. Step 2, we're going to get rid of the coefficient of the y term. So from the previous slide, we had negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 10. We are going to divide each term by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 would give us 1. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 gives us 2. And 10 divided by negative 2 gives us negative 5. Notice we divided every term by negative 2 and simplified. The graph of 4x minus 2y equals 10 is the same as y equals 2x minus 5. The equations are just in different forms. Okay. We are going to skip ahead to this example. So as you're recording notes down, you should have 2 examples for changing to slope-intercept form. Second objective is today we are going to write an equation in standard form to find the number of hours you would need to work at each of these jobs to make a total of $130. So you can see that mowing the lawn would give you $12 per hour. Delivering newspapers is $5 per hour. So we're going to let x equal the number of hours mowing lawn, y equal the number of hours delivering newspapers. Since x costs $12 per hour, we can write that as 12x. And since y is going to make you $5 per hour, we can write 5 times y for our total of 130. So our standard equation would be 12x plus 5y equals 130. And that is it. Writing equations in standard form are usually a little bit simpler than some of the other forms. However, to graph them, they might involve more work. Second example. The MSU women's basketball team had a game on January 18th, 2010, celebrating center Alyssa DeHaan from Granville. Adult tickets cost $10 each. Children's tickets cost $6 each. I have $110 to spend on tickets. Write an equation in standard form to find the number of each type of ticket you would purchase with $110. We could use A for adult tickets and C for children's tickets, or again we could use X and Y depending on your preference. We're going to let A equal the number of adult tickets and C be the number of children's tickets. Since the adult tickets cost $10 each, I'm going to associate that with the letter A, and since the children's tickets cost $6 each, I'll associate that with the letter C. My equation in standard form then would be 10A plus 6C equals 110. And that is how you write equations in standard form.